Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for update 77 of Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. I'm not going to start off with a sound check right now because I don't want to be eaten by Rotwieners. So, bang! There you go. There's your closest sound check. So, we have made it. We have a Rotwieners update for you today. I am running on very little sleep, so I apologize if I am loopy or stumble over my words at all. Oh my goodness. Anywho, let's jump right into it. I want to talk about what is new, what is different about this update, and hopefully along the way give you folks some tips and tricks to keep yourselves from getting eaten from Rotwieners at least too frequently. So, jumping over to our starting house here. For those of you who don't know, this is a roguelite RPG. And what that basically means is that there are quests that you can get from various NPCs. You can talk to them by pointing at the talk bubble above their head, get quests from them and such, and the quest progress that you make is persistent, meaning that if you quit or die or what have you and come back, quests that you have completed will persist. In general, though, nothing else does. So if you get various sorts of weapons and resources and things, those are not permanent. Those are local to a run. You should expect to die a lot. So when we start out here and get a piece of equipment, basically, firearm spawns are similar to Take and Hold in that every time that you find a firearm, whether it's your starting gun or a quest reward or an unlock that you purchase, it is coming from, most frequently, a pool of guns. So let's see what we get here. Okay, we got a P22. You'll notice your starting pistols are very weak. We'll talk about that in a minute. And let's very quickly talk about the resources that you're going to be using. There are 3 categories of crafting resource that are really important to this mode. Meat cores, of which there are 8. You can read about them here. Herbs, of which there are 5. And banger junk, which is used for making craftable explosives once you get further on into the game. All of these can be stored inside you. And so we can grab this and we can eat it. Great stuff. Can eat that? Oh, even better. Mom said I needed iron in my diet. And if we want to get those back out for use in something, we have this interface here, which is sort of similar to our Take and Hold radar. That's our health around the edge. But if we point at and click here, we can see 3 categories of item. We can click the category and then puke that item back up. Yay, and then, eat it to store it. So that way you can keep your quick belt slots for ammo and attachments and firearms and certain quest-specific items, and you can keep all of your crafting materials in your stomach. Moving right along, just a quick tip. I know a lot of y'all might play video games because you don't like none of them books full of their words. That's not as exciting as smashing things. But I would definitely suggest that you take the time to read the various helpful notes and boards and stuff found throughout the game. They have important information on how to deal with the various enemies, of which there are a lot more of in terms of type and numbers, as well as some of the quests in the game. I still need to get actually into the game a little more of a, hey, use this, but for jotting around, Honey Hamlet, remember that you've got this convenient local teleportation system that is functional right from the get-go. So if we want to jump on over to Sam America to pick up some ammo, we can just hit 7 there, selects there, and just jump onto the pad. Boom! And here we are over at Sam America. So let's talk about reloading real quick. I'm not going to fire my gun because I don't want to attract any Rotwieners. But if we empty this, like so, grab our mag, dump out our ammo here, reload-o-matics have been changed from the way the mode worked before in that these are now for all ammo types. So we can just dump a mag on there. You'll notice that it detects it and it tells you what subtype it's going to give you. Soft point. Boom. And that is that reloads. If, however, you need a single round of it, like say it's a shotgun and it doesn't have a magazine, we can just hit the single round button and grab one here. Remember to palm multiple rounds, pick up one of them, and then click on the lower quadrant of your touchpad or joystick, based on which platform you're using, hold it, and just drag across other rounds, and they'll scoop up into your hand right there. I don't know why we do that with 22, but there you go. Another requested change from this past year has been the ability to get up onto ruins where there might be loot without having to switch over to, say, a different movement mode like teleporting. I have gone through and painstakingly added climbing points now to all of these ruins. So we can get up here. Looks like we've actually got some here. Remember, you can bash boxes open now with guns. Whack! What did it give us? Ah! We got a rare empty one. Of course I would get an empty one while showing this off. Of course. Anywho, jump off there. Before this update, some of the crafting that had been in the game had been a little underwhelming. There weren't enough herbs to really use power-ups a lot, and the pies were... well, the pies didn't really work very well. The pies work wonderfully now, so I definitely recommend you try out the various recipes. To make something, we just... It never stops being funny, especially when you're sleep deprived. And you vomited them literally under the table. Oh, this is terrible. How are we going to get our... there we go. Let's grab those there. There we go. Whew, you can really tell how tired I am. Anywho, so we can make ourselves a pie by popping these in here, throw in here, and boom! Bake ourselves a pie. To use these, the way to think about the pies is they're sort of like crowd control, area of effect, one-off powers. So you can throw one down, you can smash it, you can shoot it, etc. Or you can load it into a banger to use as part of a proximity or an impact or a radio detonated explosive. The default one, which you're going to want to use a lot, is a bait that basically creates a radius of effect that basically gets rots to chase it. I'll show you in a moment. Another quality of life feature, which I know a number of you requested, is that it is now easier to keep track of the various tasks and NPCs that need help. You'll find 3 of these boards throughout the game, one in the hamlet, one out in the crossroads, and one in Wienerton, showing the various residents of those areas what they need, and you will know that you've completely completed their quest when it gets crossed off here. In addition to that, each one of those sub-regions have a really sweet reward you get from the rookie, the deputy, and the sheriff for completing those quests, so make sure to swing by this board to see what you've gotten done and what you haven't. One playing tip that I really want to communicate is that combat is dangerous and it is possible to get mobbed. So guns attract attention, there are moments to use them, and then there are moments to use guile and stealth, and traps that are at your disposal. Rots have good hearing, but they can't see very far. So in the case of this fella up here, he can only see us about 30 meters away. What I'm going to try to do is sneak up on him here and activate a trap. Drag that down. You can see now when we drag one of these down, it actually opens up both sides, significantly less annoying. And there's a bunch of things we could do. We could use our 22 here to stun him, or take him down. Oh, he's seen us, so let's run backwards. Haha, nice. Cut them right in half. Ooh, and we got a meat core out of it. Fantastic. Let's go finishing. Open these traps up. We'll actually get our first rifle from Bobbert. As I mentioned before, combat is dangerous, and you are going to be taking a lot of damage. You're going to need to help keep yourself alive after that. The power-up system is here to help you with that. So the way this works is that we're basically making sausages and grilling them. So let's go ahead and set up our grill. Let's put that pie up on our head. Let's take our grate out. Grab some charcoal. Make ourselves a little fire. Be careful, this is quite explosive. I don't know what they put in lighter fluid here in the hamlet. It honestly feels a little like jet fuel. Light that up. Wonderful. Grab our grate. And now let's make ourselves a sausage. The sausage crafting system has been expanded in that our 8 meat core types imbue different properties to our power-ups. They can affect the strength, the duration, and some other things that I'll let you find out. But we're going to make a simple and safe recipe. So we've got a tasty meat core and our 2 ketchup leaves. So we can slam these in. Boom, boom. Grab ourselves a sausage. Pop that on the grill. Close it. Ding, perfect. So we now have a health wiener. You'll notice on the underside of your power-ups, you'll have these various symbols. These let you know what the power and duration, if it's a duration-based power, would be. In this case, it's a minus. Tasty cores aren't that powerful, so this is going to be a 1/4 heal. I don't need it right now, but handy to have in the future. I definitely recommend you play around with the systems. Remember that any plants you find do eventually regrow their herbs, so while you're playing, stop back, especially in the hamlet, just grab yourself another one. I can see one growing right over here. Two. Wonderful. And then remember that all of the tools that you have at your disposal here are designed to synergize with each other. Gun, melee, fire, explosive, and traps and pies can all be used in all sorts of various creative ways together, and I look forward to seeing how you all use them. Well, let's get ourselves some attention here. Rot's coming in. Let's get him near the fire. Boom. Ha-ha. Burn, my weenies. Burn. I feel like Father Gregory. Wonderful. Anywho, let's jump out of VR and talk about a few more things. Yo! So I hope that all looks enjoyable for you. In addition to the stuff that I was showing off there, the things, especially if you've played Rotwieners this past year, you should know a bunch of the quests have been rebuilt and expanded upon. There's some new quests. There's some new areas to explore. There's even some hidden quests that will take a little more effort and detective-y work for you to figure out. That's why I said you should make sure to read everything. So in addition to all of that, you should be aware a couple things. One, there are now 2 ways that you can play this mode. When you go to create a new save game in the main menu, you'll notice there is Classic and arcade as options. Arcade will basically start you out with an extra, more effective melee weapon, as well as allow for spawn locking of ammo. There are no other changes to it beyond that. I'm still tweaking a bunch of the sort of auto cleanup behavior. Obviously, the problem with allowing spawn locking is people tend to drop and discard a lot of partially full magazines, and this ends up clogging up the scene. So I have written something that tries to clean that up automatically. It may end up accidentally auto-deleting certain things of yours ammo-wise when they're distant from you. So just if a magazine for a gun matters to you, keep it on you is my suggestion when playing in arcade mode. Nothing is auto-deleted in classic mode. Another thing to be aware of is that the reward unlocks that you will get for beating this mode, which are the item spawner showing up, and a bunch of the Rotwiener specific weapons showing up in the item spawner, only occurs if you beat the mode on Classic. So you got to do it for real if you want those rewards. Let's see what else we covered that. Oh, really importantly, for those of you who really enjoy the soundtrack for this mode, it is now available on Spotify. Link down here, as well as in the Reddit post for this. Let's see what else. And yeah, I think that's about it. I wanted to do a really fancy schmancy trailer to have ready for today, but obviously I've been in the process of getting this ready right up until the last moment. So I'm probably going to make a nice looking trailer for it this weekend. So you should expect to continue to see more information. I'm going to be bug fixing, balance tweaking, and we're going to be improving some elements of that like first 20 to 30 minute experience right at the beginning still over the course of the next week, just to make sure that new users who haven't necessarily played a lot of H3 know how to do some basic things. But yeah, and who knows what else I'll end up sneaking in there over time. So two other really important pieces of news. One, Vive Cosmos support is in the game now. So it has been. I had one good friend of mine test it, and it appears to be working. Let me know if something goes wrong. Just so you know, I have not implemented an extra input of any kind for that bumper that's above the trigger, but if you want to map that to something else, you can edit the Steam VR binding and tweak that to your taste. Cool. And let's see that. What else? Shoot, there was something else. Spotify, Cosmos. Oh yeah, very important. The Kappa Coliseum scene is not in this build at the moment. I had to disable it due to all of the changes that I made to Melee, to the Gladiators, to the various Rotwieners, because the Kappa Coliseum mode, some of those used not just they didn't just use the Rotwieners, they used the like enemy definition system that I create that Rotwieners used, and I edited that format for the mode, so I completely broke the Kappa Coliseum scene. So that will be returning sometime mid to late November. So my apologies, but I have to pull it down, and I did not have enough time to rebuild all of that and finish this mode. So, and then one last thing, let's really quickly talk about bug reports and spoilers. In terms of bug reports, only post bug reports to the bug reports section of the Steam community forum. Do not put spoilers in the headline of it. Just put in brackets like spoilers, describe your problem very generally, and then put the details in the post so that no one accidentally, say going to post a bug report of themselves, has a quest or something like that spoiled. In terms of spoilers, there's a specific section for discussing them on the Steam community forum. And on terms of Reddit, and this is super important, do not post an image that has spoilers in it directly as an image to Reddit. The spoiler tag does not mask that image on all mobile platforms that people use for Reddit, so people can have things spoiled for them scrolling down that. So create a text post link like an Imgur image or something like that in the body. Make sure it's not the first line. I know I'm, belaboring all of this, but I want to make sure that folks who can't play it immediately or just take a longer time getting through it don't get things spoiled. If you spoil something, I'm going to instantaneously delete your post. Because it's more important to me that people get to enjoy the game and its secrets at their own pace. So by all means, talk about them, but make sure to guard and treat other people in regards to this information in the way that you would like to be treated. So anywho, I am beginning to ramble because like 3 hours of real sleep and too much coffee, but I'm going to run back to last minute bug fixing to get this ready, and I can't wait to see what you folks think. Prepare to have all of your butts kicked. Anywho, have a great weekend. Peace.